6 signs you are in a toxic relationship. What is a toxic relationship? Many of us enter the dating world not even knowing that a lot of our beliefs about relationships are toxic to begin with. So let's first get clear about what a toxic relationship is. A toxic relationship occurs when one or both people are prioritizing love over the 3 core components of a healthy relationship: respect, trust, and affection. This might sound crazy to some people, but love should not be the reason to stay in a relationship, and that's because it can cloud our judgment in these other very important areas. If you prioritize the love you get out of a relationship over the respect you're given, you'll tolerate being treated like a doormat. If you prioritize love over trust in the relationship, you'll tolerate lying and cheating. If you prioritize love over affection in the relationship, you'll tolerate a cold and distant existence in the relationship. We tolerate bad relationships for all sorts of reasons. Maybe we have low self-esteem, maybe we're not self-aware enough to realize what's going on, maybe we don't have a good handle on our emotions, and so on. But all this does is create a superficial, psychologically unhealthy, and potentially abusive relationship. In this video we have 6 of the most common tendencies in relationships that many couples think are healthy and normal, but are actually toxic behaviors and harming what you hold dear. Before I invite you to subscribe and like the video for more tips. 1. The relationship scorecard. The keeping score phenomenon is when someone you're dating continues to blame you for past mistakes. If both people in the relationship do this, it devolves into what I call the relationship scorecard, where the relationship devolves into a battle to see who has screwed up the most over the months or years, and therefore who is most indebted to the other. The relationship scorecard is a double whammy of suckage. Not only are you deflecting the current issue by focusing on previous wrongs, but you're ginning up guilt and bitterness from the past to manipulate your partner into feeling bad in the present. If this goes on long enough, both partners eventually spend most of their energy trying to prove that they're less culpable than the other, rather than solving what caused the present issue. People spend all of their time trying to be less wrong for each other instead of being more right for each other. 2. Dropping hints and other passive aggression. Instead of saying something outright and out loud, a partner tries to nudge the other in the right direction of figuring it out. Instead of saying what's actually upsetting you, you find small and petty ways to piss your partner off, so you'll then feel justified in complaining to them. Because it shows that you two are not comfortable communicating openly and clearly. A person has no reason to be passive-aggressive if they feel safe expressing anger or insecurity within a relationship. A person will never feel a need to drop hints if they feel like they won't be judged or criticized for honesty. 3. Holding the relationship hostage. When one person has a simple criticism or complaint and blackmails the other person by threatening the commitment of the relationship as a whole. For instance, if someone feels like you've been cold to them, instead of saying, "I feel like you're being cold sometimes," they will say, "I can't date someone who is cold to me all of the time." Holding the relationship hostage amounts to emotional blackmail and creates tons of unnecessary drama. Even the smallest hiccup in the flow of the relationship results in a perceived commitment crisis. It's crucial for both people in a relationship to know that negative thoughts and feelings can be communicated safely without it threatening the entire future of the relationship. Without that freedom to be honest, a couple will suppress their true thoughts and feelings, leading to the creation of an environment of distrust and manipulation. 4. Blaming your partner for your own emotions. Let's say you're having a crappy day and your partner isn't exactly being super sympathetic or supportive about it. Maybe they've been on the phone all day with some people from work, or they got distracted when you hugged them. You want to lie around at home together and just watch a movie tonight, but your partner has plans to go out and see friends. As your frustration with your day, and your partner's reaction to it, increases, you find yourself lashing out for being so insensitive and callous toward you. Sure, you never asked for emotional support, but your partner should just instinctually know to make you feel better. They should have gotten off the phone and ditched their plans based on your lousy emotional state. Blaming our partners for our emotions is selfish and a classic example of the poor maintenance of personal boundaries. When you set a precedent that your partner is responsible for how you feel at all times, and vice versa, this can easily lead to a codependent relationship. Everything, even down to reading a book or watching TV, must be negotiated. When someone begins to get upset, all personal desires go out the window because now you have to make each other feel better. 5. Displays of loving jealousy. Getting pissed off when your partner talks, touches, calls, texts, hangs out, or sneezes in the general vicinity of another person and then proceeding to take that anger out on your partner and attempt to control their behavior. This often leads to insane behaviors such as hacking into your partner's email account, looking through their text messages while they're in the shower, or even following them around town and showing up unannounced. It surprises me that some people describe this as some sort of display of affection, figuring, incorrectly, that if their partner isn't jealous then that somehow means they don't love them enough. This is absolutely clownshit crazy. Rather than being loved enough, it's actually just controlling and manipulative. And by transmitting a message of a lack of trust in the other person, it creates unnecessary drama and discord. 6. Buying the solutions to relationship problems. Whenever a major conflict or issue comes up in a relationship, instead of solving it, you cover it up with the excitement and good feelings that come with buying something nice or going on a trip somewhere. Not only does buying stuff brush the real problem under the rug, where it will always re-emerge, and even worse the next time, but it sets an unhealthy precedent within the relationship. This is not a gender-specific problem, but I will use the traditional gendered situation as an example. Let's imagine that whenever a woman gets angry at her boyfriend or husband, the man solves the issue by buying the woman a gift or taking her to a fancy restaurant. Not only does this give the woman unconscious incentive to find more reasons to be upset with the man, but it also gives the man absolutely no incentive to actually be accountable for the problems in the relationship. What's the result of all this? A checked out husband who feels like an ATM, and an incessantly bitter woman who feels unheard. There's nothing wrong with doing nice things for a significant other after a fight to show solidarity, regret, or to reaffirm the commitment. But one should never use gifts or fancy things to replace dealing with the underlying emotional issues. Gifts and trips are called luxuries for a reason. You only get to appreciate them when everything else is already good. If you use them to cover up your problems, then you will find yourself with a much bigger problem down the line. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.